Hello World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. And now that it's finally available on 4K Blu-ray, I went ahead and picked up the latest in the Matrix trilogy, The Matrix Resurrections. Or is it just Matrix Resurrections? The fourth installment in the Matrix trilogy, which we might still be able to consider a trilogy when you take into account that the second and third movies were really just one big movie. Resurrections released in 2021, a whopping 18 years since the last installment in the franchise. Which also ended pretty definitively with the, spoiler alert for a 2-decade-old movie, death of Neo and Trinity. And while not everyone returns for this installment, the most notable are Keanu Reeves as Neo and Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity. Hence the subtitle Resurrections, I suppose. It's been quite a long time since the events of the last movie, but hey, Neo and Trinity are still alive! A whole new breed of Matrix runners needs to save them! For some reason. Money, mostly, but this seems to be quite the divisive movie, actually. I mean, not even both of the Wachowskis return for this. Lilly decided to sit this one out, leaving writing and directing solely in the hands of Lana. So, let's take a look at The Matrix Resurrections and see what's got everyone all up in arms. We open up to the opening of the original movie. Just, again.
Did you hear that? Shit, I think our signal was traced. Bugs, this feels like a trap.
So it's no wonder people still call this a remake or reboot or soft reboot, when this well and truly is a sequel taking place after the third movie, and all of those events did happen. It goes on like this for a while, showing us scenes we've already seen, but just different enough that you can tell you didn't put the original in one by accident.
You're wasting your time. I meant I'm bringing her down now.
No, Lieutenant. Your men are already dead.
As Agent Smith here is now played by a completely different actor, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. And Jonathan Groff, we'll get to that one in a bit. Our new character, Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick, ignores the warnings of her operator, Sequoia, played by Toby Onwumere, and refuses to leave, insisting on seeing what's going on within this new, unseen motel of the origins of Neo. Things go predictably enough, up until Trinity fails to escape the agents, getting surrounded on the rooftop with nowhere to go. Right when Agent Smith just so happens to find Bugs, leading them to fight, and for Bugs to kinda interrupt that simulated history she was watching.
I'm just scared to get myself out.
Killer.
Man, people in this franchise really don't like new characters. So she must run, fleeing the agents only to be surrounded by police who turn into agents. Escaping into an obvious Keymaker reference, they follow. But then... it turns out that Smith knows about the back doors and uses them to save Bugs, who he was just trying to kill. The movie doesn't work unless he saves her. As it turns out, hey, he's here to chit-chat. Seems he's a curious agent. Wonders who this new face is. Also, this place is secret as no one ever bothered checking out the key shop, so Smith decided, fuck it, and did it himself. Leading here, Neo's old apartment. How convenient. On that note, Bugs trusts the agent entirely at this point, expositing about how Neo is thought to be dead, but she knows he's alive. She has seen him. And just that glance unlocked her mind. Which reminds Smith of that time he had a similar thing happen.
I saw this pattern. And it was everywhere.
Just going about his agent life, taking agent showers, taking an agent lunch break, hopping between bodies, chasing down Matrix runners to kill them. But that one time, seeing in the mirror that little flicker of code, man, and we are in a simulation, can you believe it? That's the shocking realization that he knows that this is not the real world. As an agent, he should know that.
I am Morpheus.
Except that Smith is Morpheus. Which raises even more questions. And he wants to find Neo, for frenzies this time. Well then, with her new friend here, Bugs has a proposition for the program. Pop a pill! Wait, how the hell does that work?
Extraction works pretty much the same for humans and programs.
Oh, excuse me, I forgot the Matrix was built on the creation engine. It just works. Similarly, it is pretty damn disorienting for Agent Smorf over here, which makes it all the more daring that they must run for their lives, deftly escaping their pursuers, as we suddenly transition over to Keanu! He's back and back to playing the role of Thomas Anderson, now a world-famous game designer, having made the ultimate in interactive entertainment, The Matrix Trilogy. Confused by some sudden issues with his moto, he is interrupted by his boisterous bestest bud, Jude, played by Andrew Lewis Caldwell. He's not just Tommy's friend, but biggest fan, loved everything about the Matrix trilogy. But Thomas's mind is elsewhere, looking at that lovely lady who comes by the coffee shop every day that he can't bring himself to say hi to. Not to worry, Jude can do what he does best and be an incredibly obnoxious wingman like he's trying to make sure they don't hit it off. But that's nothing natural attraction can't cut through, and they finally hold hands.
This is my husband, Chad.
Nice to meet you.
But being married sure puts that to a screeching halt with her literal Chad husband over here, Chad, played by Chad. Well, he certainly got the right man for the job. But while Tommy was off getting some Vulcan finger action, his moto was deleted! No time to dwell on that. He's got to see his boss, Smith, played by Jonathan Groff.
I know we've always had our differences. What did you say about our first meeting? We had all the chemistry of an FBI interrogation.
And yeah, I'm Smith, Morpheus. This movie desperately needed these characters to actually be played by the original actors, and, well, they aren't. To be fair, Jonathan here does make his Smith his own, but considering these scenes play on familiarity and nostalgia, that doesn't really work for the movie as a whole. Nevertheless, it's time to break the fourth wall.
Warner Brothers has decided to make a sequel to the trilogy.
What?
They informed me they're going to do it with or without us.
Or with however many will actually come back, at least. Hearing about how his personal artistic vision really doesn't mean jack if corporate wants more Matrix, then that's what they're gonna get. Tom starts to break. Not to worry, he can just go over this with his handy-dandy therapist, played by Neil Patrick Harris. He's been seeing Tom for a while. His stresses at work, his disdain for his boss, his attempt to commit not alive. And through it all, he knows just what to say.
Do you need a refill on your prescription?
Something wrong in the head? Two in the mouth. Mr. Anderson's prescription just so happens to be a little blue pill. Oh well, just keep taking them. Besides, we got more important things to worry about. With that big meeting to brainstorm ideas for what the hell to even do for a Matrix 4. And he feels like they should have already done that part. But they go over it, and over it, and over it again. Nothing sparks the idea of fresh original take on a heartless sequel project than being trapped in an endless repeating treadmill of life.
Allow me to sum up our goal in a single word. Bullet time! Bullet time!
That's 2 words.
Ah, whatever, let's just call it a glitch in the Matrix and move on. This mind-numbing repetition eventually ends when Thomas stops taking his pills. Letting it all out, he goes up and actually talks to that woman at the coffee shop, Tiffany. They have a nice little chat about the concept of personal desires versus societal programming, and the question of how we even know if what we want is really what we want. Anyway, you made that game series. Matrix, is it? Amazing. You look like the main character. But on that note...
There's a woman in your game.
Trinity.
Which is a weird coincidence, also, right?
Okay, this conversation could be going very well, or screeching to a restraining order any second. As luck would have it, she really digs the character of Trinity. Sees a lot of herself in them, you know? Even if her husband didn't think so. He laughed, so she laughed, and her inner self was really pissed off that everyone treated it like a joke, especially herself. So she kind of fantasized a bit about beating his ass for that.
And right now you're probably regretting sitting down with me.
This is the best thing I've done in a long time.
I mean, I gotta admit, the rest of the movie up to this point is kind of meh. But, can't get any closer just yet. Tiffany got a call that her kid's gone and hurt themselves again, and she has to go. Oh well, back to the grind, I guess. But what's this? The building is being evacuated for an unspecified reason. But alas, Thomas gets a text to go to the door at the end of the hall. Who could it be?
At last. I wasn't too sure about the callback, but you know, it's just hard to resist.
And I was honestly just starting to enjoy myself. The direction this conversation goes is a lot more interesting, though. Neo did program Smorf over here as a sort of AI experiment, but he has no idea how the program could have escaped his motel. They're running out of time, so...
Still open. This can't be real.
What is real? How do we define... Oh, he's already gone. Running back into the building, Thomas finds himself attacked by a SWAT team. Smorf does what he can to take the pursuers down, but this is all quite a bit like that old Matrix now, isn't it? So much so that his boss, upon seeing the mind-altering powers of a gun, reverts back into Agent Smith mode. I guess. He seriously doesn't even remotely look the part. Either way, he moves in to kill Neo.
Can you hear me, Thomas? Follow my voice.
But nobody wants to move to him like that, so it doesn't work, because reasons. No idea how he's got here, but Tom's found his way back to his therapist's office. Has some memory issues, must have had a little breakdown. Thought his moto Morpheous Smith thingamajig has come out to help him escape from a virtual world that holds him prisoner, or something like that.
Am I crazy?
We don't use that word in here.
We use the technical term. You suffer from CBI. Completely batshit insane. Those texts from Smorf have also mysteriously vanished, but he's still not totally convinced that it was all in his head. It felt so real. His therapist is like, yeah, psychotic episodes will do that. But the thing to remember is that you don't let these personal feelings lead you to do something that might hurt yourself or others. On that note, hey, let's get drunk on a rooftop. Remember that jump from the original movie? Well, now's as good a time as any to try it out. But what's this? Bugs has arrived. She has finally found Neo and has to show him the truth. Remember when you jumped off the building before? I was there. Saw the whole thing. You didn't fall. Kind of an eye-opener. Now I'm free and here to free you.
Are you the one that hacked my modal?
Yeah. That'll be Jude. He's not your friend. He's a handler program used to control you.
Oh god, the machines were evil enough with the pods and the bioelectric harvesting thing. Now they've gone and made fake friends. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share with your friends. Purchase the movie on Amazon in a link in the description. But you see, Neo made that modal and left it open specifically because he wanted to be hacked. And for Smorf to be freed and lead them right to Neo. He can trust Bugs because, follow the white rabbit, remember that one? And so he does. Right into the Shinkansen. Something about a moving portal being harder for the machines to track. But that's not where they're going to be doing the whole red pill, blue pill dance. That's back to the old set.
After our first contact went so badly, we thought elements from your past might help ease you into the present.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
Fuck my past. This is a lot to take in though, because finding out the thing you thought was a game was really your life, that's enough of a mindfuck even without this little detail.
We died.
Obviously not.
It's just absolutely every circuit in your brain being fried shortly after Trinity became a pincushion. Just walk it off, you'll be fine. Also, how the hell was he so hard to find when he was literally a world-famous game designer? Easy enough, his digital self-image was fucked with. And it's kinda hard to find Keanu Reeves when he's walking around looking like Stephen Roy. Also, surprise, this movie takes place 60 years after the last one. Still trying to figure that one out, but that can wait. We gotta get the plot moving here, so Neo takes the red pill, and before you know it, boom! He's emerging from his pod all over again. Slightly different this time. There's no great big field, just two pods. His and Trinity's. Also, is it just me or does the machine grab and wire eruption scene look considerably less impressive this time around? No bother, he doesn't get flushed down the happy slide this time, but picked up and whisked away directly into the rescue hovercraft.
Welcome back to the real world.
And like most sequels, this big ordeal is considerably less time-consuming than it used to be. With Aliens, it used to be gestating over days or hours or minutes. But, now, Neo, he just pops out of the pod. Okay, let's get back to fighting machines. Not saying they don't have anything to do. He'll die unless they shock his system. So it's back to the construct for a little chit-chat with Smorf. He's still a program, so this is where he hangs out. They might have sent Neo here merely as a stabilizer, but the sentient program based on an amalgamation of Morpheus and Smith, he thinks there's something else that might get Neo back into action. Another callback scene! Remember that kung fu battle with Morpheus? Really kick-ass, one of the highlights of the movie. Well, let's just do that again!
No. I'm done fighting.
But of course that is one of the reasons Lana came back to this movie, so they would not just do the same thing again. So it's a similar goal, free Neo's mind, but Smorf intends to do this by force, beating the ever-loving fuck out of Neo, leaving the rest of the crew kinda concerned until Neo finally unlocks his mind and remembers how to fight for who he is! And effectively goes fucking Super Saiyan on his ass. So he's all better, but hey, remember the Oracle? Oh, they fucking deleted her ass, along with many other programs. This is more of a reboot of The Matrix in a literal sense. On the plus side, though, they did stop the war, in case you're wondering just why all her crew come off as lifeless, interchangeable robots. Well, that's just how they're written. But there's also a few characters who literally are robots. Also, little nanoparticle thingamabobbers that allow programs like Smorf to walk around naked. Whatever floats his hovercraft. Okay, that's nice and all, but how about a little plot thread to move this film along? Neo's like, hey, Trinity was in the other pod, can we save her? Bugs responds that it's a bit more complicated, it was very risky doing just this, and they can't just do the same thing again. Who does that?
Even if it were Trinity and she wanted to be free, we have no idea how to do it.
Yet.
I mean, come on guys, there's like an hour of movie left. We'll probably figure something out by then. Anyway, gotta go help with the world building. Fuck Zion. That's old hat. We gotta move on to the new human and machine settlement, Io. This place is run by General Niobe, played by Jada Pinkett Smith under about 80 pounds of age makeup. She's here to be like, hey, never asked you to free Neo. Really no driving force there, so you're all in big trouble for this shit.
There was a time when you trusted me with your ship. Against the Council's orders.
The world was different then.
Effectively, you can ignore just about all of Niobe's characterization in the previous movies. Here she's just the old curmudgeon like, damn kids gallivanting off in their hovercrafts, doing all kinds of crazy missions and making all kinds of noise. I mean, in case you're wondering what she thinks about seeing Morpheus again after all this time. Well, don't, it never comes up. Niobe catches Neo up on all the world building. Seems they've been working hard on new tech to simulate old Earth sunlight and reverse engineering Unreal Engine 5 code into DNA sequences. Hell, they're all GMOs anyway, can't be that hard. But what happened after the war ended? Well, so many out of the Matrix meant there was less power to go around for the machines.
We saw machines at war with one another.
Which sounds like it would have made an awesome movie. But much like the Predator Homeworld and AVP Requiem, we only see it for a couple of seconds. Anyway, Morpheus 1.0 took over Zion after Neo's mission and he ran it into the ground. They all believed Neo's work couldn't be undone and, well, it was. Speaking of Neo getting to work though, he points out, hey, Trinity's alive too, I really gotta go save her.
Even if it means endangering everyone in this city.
And that's really the crux of the problem. The idea of not having a choice, the idea of a choice being a formality, predetermined, you pick the right thing to do, that's not really a choice. That's presented throughout the movie, but here, Neo saving Trinity, there's really no benefit to everyone else. And in fact, a lot of them might get kind of fucked up if he goes with this, so it's really not so cut and dry anymore, is it? On that note, you're under arrest, Neo. Just gotta figure out what the hell to do with you for the rest of the movie. In the meantime, 3 hots in the cot for you. But, we still got like half of the film to go, so Smorf pops in like, hey, Neo, good to see you anyway. Bugs is here with your Uber. Gonna go pick up Trinity in a bit. You in? So they head out and reach a point where they can reach the Matrix. Slipping back in through the looking glass, they sneak in and are spotted immediately.
Predictable as ever.
Smith.
Huh? Oh, right. I keep forgetting that the business casual doesn't help.
His code is freaky. He's like an agent, but not.
Any sophisticated enough technology is indistinguishable from magic. So I still don't gotta explain shit. Smythe is here to do a little more world building. Neo's therapist, the analyst, well, he runs this joint. Even upgraded Smith with magic code to make Smythe. But now Smythe wants to get revenge. For reasons. Love that freedom Neo gave him and the analyst just yoinked that away. So he's gonna file a complaint. And he can't do that with Neo kicking around. Because... remember how Neo's antics caused a Matrix reset and purge? Well, some of the programs who were kicking around for many resets ended up having to go into hiding, including none other than the Merovingian.
All these years, I can't believe it. Oh, God.
Played once again by Lambert Wilson. I had to check because he looked so different and so many other people were recast I honestly couldn't tell. So they fight! One of those fights that doesn't really matter, as none of the important characters was even seriously hurt, and nobody is prevented from doing anything. Just lots of back and forth punching up until Smythe has Neo cornered, so he Kamehameha blasts his ass away. End scene.
This is not over yet. I will sequel franchise spin-off.
The Merovingian's Matrix Melee! 3 hours of fight scenes that lead absolutely nowhere and contribute nothing! So Neo makes it to Tiffany's place just the same, but before he can explain the whole you live in a simulation situation to her, the analyst shows up, using his godlike powers to fuck everything up, and prevent Neo from doing anything about it with one simple word.
Bullet time.
I know. Kinda ironic. Using the power that defined you to control you.
Honestly, I kind of like that. Bullet time was always a thing in the Matrix, but it was just a visual effect. It was just really high technology for 1999, but it never had any actual meaning to the events at hand. Until now. Anyway, we're a good hour and a half into this movie, and the analyst here has plenty of time on his hands. May as well exposit what the hell is going on. Remember how Neo and Trinity died? The analyst sure does. He figured there had to be something special about them, something worth studying. So he scooped up their remains quick enough and got their medical bots to work. After a long, painful, horrifying resurrection process, they got to study them good. Seems that Trinity really is Neo's second half, and with their powers combined, that's a bit too much energy, but keep them close but not too close, and it's like that part of Monsters, Inc. where they discovered that Laugh was 10 times more powerful than Scream. But how to control Neo? Easy! Fuck with his feelings. Works for any human.
The worse we treat you, the more we manipulate you, the more energy you produce.
It's kind of what my bosses thought back at Renner's Warehouse Market, too. The analyst leaves him with a choice. Come back to his pod, or something bad might happen to poor old Tiffany. So, no time to explain, they must run! They have been found out!
Sentinels? Worse.
General ordered me to look after the ship.
So you've shadowed us?
Okay, if hall monitors are worse than Sentinels, I think it's safe to say Neo made the world a better place. So it's back to Io with Niobe chewing them out yet again. More brig and more grounding for them! But oh yeah, movie can't continue if that happens, so handy dandy robot just so happens to swoop in when it just so happened to have the child program Neo just so happened to save last movie, Sati, who just so happens to grow up to be played by a completely different actress, Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She just so happens to know how hard it is to break Trinity free, but she also just so happens to know exactly how they can do it. It's a suicide mission, so obviously Niobe wants Bugs to go, but we're gonna need more than just one ship.
I need 2 more. Are you out of your minds?
You'd think maybe this would be a moment of characterization for any of them, but nah, each and every last one of them is just as basic and forgettable as the last. This is just another one of the Niobe is a really shit general examples that keep piling up. Anyway, this is one of those super daring missions that is so off-the-wall dangerous, we watch them describe the plan in detail, interspliced with shots of them pulling said plan off. First off, Smorf uses his particle powers to penetrate the Pod People prison as a means to open up a chance for someone with Neo's brain stuff to help set up a psycho-cyber bypass hack thing we're just establishing can be done right now!
Since Neo must be with the analyst, the only available mind that's a near enough match is yours.
Figures.
Bugs may be completely bland and forgettable, but she is technically protagonist adjacent. But they need someone else to perform the bypass, and that would be Sati. But, you gotta keep in mind what Trinity wants. Freeing her from the Matrix has to be her choice, because this movie's entire theme is about choice, in case you haven't picked up on that. So while everyone's all set for the operation, Neo enters the Matrix once more to walk into that coffee shop, surrounded by the analyst's personal army, to try once more to convince Trinity to come with him. Neo knows the analyst will play nice because he has brought his own army of Matrix runners, who are all considerably slower, weaker, and more prone to death than any of these spare plainclothes agents he's got kicking around, so, not sure how that's intimidating at all. But no bother, we've got Carrie-Anne Moss right here, so let's see what she thinks of this whole thing.
I wish I was who you think I am. But look at me. I can't be her.
Thanks, Tom, but I'm about as blue-pilled as they come, so how about no? Besides, she got a family, and oh darn it, one of the kids just got hit by a car or something. Chad says they gotta go, and they gotta go now. But this here turns out to be the final straw. Trinity might not feel the desire to go for Neo, but she damn sure feels the need to get the hell away from Chad. That's right, it's the analyst's attempts to control her that caused her to reject this world. Oh well, sucks for the analyst, but this whole army versus army thing was really never an issue anyway. He's got the power of bullet time, remember? Could just walk over and blow Trinity's brains out. But what's this? Smythe just so happens to show up as well. Bullet time means nothing to him. He is still the divide by zero.
Once he got out, let's just say I was free to be me.
So Smythe just saves Neo, which, again, would have probably been a really interesting scene to look at if he had actually been played by Hugo Weaving. He can't beat the crap out of the analyst, though. Those spare agents are effective again, at least against him. Much as the punches and bullets are flying at the moment, none of the important characters really suffer any losses. They get smacked around a bit here and there, but not to progress anything plot-related, just spectacle-related. How about a motorcycle runaway car chase while the entire population tries to kill them? They begin dive-bombing out the windows, crashing all over, trying to take out Neo and Trinity. Neo uses his special one powers to play Reinhardt to Trinity's mercy. Now, would that make the analyst tracer? Yeah, bad analogy. Point is, while Neo can block the bullets for the two of them, he can't seem to fly anymore. However, she can! That's right, Trinity is also the one. Or one of the ones. They're the two! Now, fuck it. She's more important than happening to be the woman Techno-Jesus has the hots for, so I'll accept it. Therefore, happy ending! Kinda. Neo and Trinity are back together, and this solved nothing. Pissed off a lot of machines with this move, and humans to boot. Ah, well, maybe they could try their hand at diplomacy, meeting back up with the analyst. Or just beat the shit out of him, knock off a few body parts, and then heal him back up just like that, only to do it again. The movie just kind of stops for 90 seconds to watch Carrie-Anne Moss kick him in the nuts over and over and over. But we have our final word on what this all means. Nothing! They haven't freed shit. The people are happy under control, and they'd rather see these two just get back in their pods and stop rocking the Matrix. Thing is, they don't care. They aren't here to ask him to free anyone. They're just gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do because, hey, in case you forgot, they're free. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, that was The Matrix Resurrections. Yeah, honestly, considering how much everyone bitched and moaned about this one, I ended up liking it a hell of a lot more than I thought I was going to. Oh, it has its problems to be sure, but it doesn't take too long for me to rattle off all the things I didn't like about this movie. First of all, the characters. Man, are they just there. Bugs, Smorf, the entire crew of the ship, they exist seemingly just to exist. Smorf has the most going on that actually seems to affect things, but his introduction is over and done with so fast we end up with just an okay minor character where we could have had a much deeper, much more interesting character with, hey, an actual character arc. Similarly, just about every other new character exists simply to exist. I couldn't tell you what any of them are motivated by, even though the movie stops to establish seemingly interesting traits for those factoids amount to nothing. They just fade into the background just the same. It doesn't help that no matter how bad things get, nobody frickin' dies. The stakes never come off as being all that high. But on that end, that is kind of the point. Previous Matrix movies were about saving the world, defending the human race, ending the eternal war between man and machine. This one, it's about Neo and Trinity. That's really it. That also means there's little reason for Bugs to have gone out of her way like she did when her motivation is broken down to shits and giggles, but when stakes are that high, it brings up the question of choice and the idea of not really having one. Do I save humanity or stay at my desk job I hate? Not much of a choice. Pursue the end of the war or watch as all of mankind is liquefied? Again, not much of a choice. It's the fact that there is no great gain for anybody in this story outside of Neo and Trinity, and that's what makes this a real choice. Now, Niobe was the voice of reason explaining why to not do this. The Matrix Resurrection's philosophical edge is that your choice is yours to make, even when the entire world around you either isn't affected by it or would very much prefer you chose something else. Still, that doesn't make for the most edge-of-your-seat viewing experience, so the movie seems to lean heavily on nostalgia and the idea of familiar characters and situations, but most of these fall flat, as they don't actually have the original actors reprising their roles. The scenes with Neo and Trinity were fantastic, and it's depressing to think that a lot more of this movie could have at least had that kind of fan service charm to it to help hold it together. By the end of it all, The Matrix Resurrections is probably my second favorite out of the whole series. Keep in mind, though, I really like The Matrix for its philosophical edge first and foremost, and that's where the second and third really fell flat with its popcorn philosophy, asking deep-sounding questions left and right that didn't really amount to anything. Here, the illusion of choice is interwoven throughout, and taken for that, it can still be an enjoyable viewing experience. Just don't let the army of NPCs piloting the ship distract you for too much. Coming in at 3 Smorf and Smythe shootouts out of 5. Well, it's not fantastically amazing, but it's still decent at its heart. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado. And remember, follow the white oh, we did that one though. Go through the looking... that's been done to death. Eat me.
Inspiration.com
know everyone that shipped with him died.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get us all killed for sure.